Did she get her nails done?
I don't think she ever got her nails done. She sometimes did her own nails.
Yeah, she did them. Do you do your own nails?
I did sometimes during that time. I let her paint my nails. I'll admit it. There's nothing against that. What's wrong with that, Andrew? I know there's something. Yeah, what's wrong with that?
Quick, Andrew, do you think he's a misandrist, Oliver?
Yes.
Okay. And then Oliver, maybe quick answer to this. What is a woman?
But I don't think Oliver thinks he's a misandrist, to be fair.
No, I don't hate men.
Oliver, what is a woman?
Well, I already described it
No.
many times.
It's not just a matter of hating men. I would classify you as a person who worships women.
I don't worship women at all.
You worship them so much that you would prefer that they other men rather than you, so that they don't have any discount on experience when they you.
No,
that's women worship.
That
bro.
is not true. That is not true. I don't necessarily think. I think there is a happy medium. I would not want to date someone.
So they fuck some guys.
Sure.
Yeah,
to have
exactly.
to have some experience.
It's woman worship, dude.
It's not woman worship.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not. It's wanting someone who knows what they want.
Listen. You know what's funny is like the only one here who's ever consistent is me. Okay. Right. So it's not just that. Like men shouldn't be promiscuous either.
Sure.
Okay. And this idea of like overwhelming male worship, men tend to reject it. Like men themselves actually tend to reject it. They're not looking for male worship, right? But you, though, for some reason, you'll bite the craziest bullets for women. It's like, Oliver, do you honestly believe that if you looked in the camera right now and said, I would totally prefer that my woman had been certified pre-fucked by other men, so hang on, but it's true. It's factually rhetoric.
Nice intuition.
You might get upset with rhetoric here.
Nice intuition.
You might get upset with rhetoric, but it is factually true. You would prefer that your woman certified pre-fucked because if she's certified pre-fucked, she has the exact right experiences to have a comparison to know that you're the best. That is you trying to prove yourself to the goddess woman, dude.
No, actually, no, Andrew.
Yes, it is.
I don't care about being the best, Andrew. If this person is choosing me, then they are choosing me. It is very possible that people choose partners who are not the best sexually.
Then why earlier did you say that you want your woman to think you're the best?
I think that's. Andrew. Then I misspoke. Okay.
Well, how many more fucking times are you going to retract your every position you have?
Andrew, I don't want someone to think I'm the best. I do want.
You don't want your woman to think you're the best
at sex?
Yeah. Why not?
If I'm not, then I don't want her to think that.
Yeah, but here's the thing. I can assure you there's one way where she'll always think you are.
She's the only one that
and the problem with that is what?
I don't want to be with someone who's not had any experience outside of me.
So you want her to be certified pre-fucked, bro?
Okay, well, if you want to put it that way, I want someone.
No putting it that is the
I want
case.
someone who has life experiences outside of me and has developed in such a way and had those experiences so that we can bond over that. In a sense, Andrew, then maybe what I'm saying is I have had sex out of marriage.
So?
I have done a lot of those things. So I would want someone who has similar types of experiences.
Why? What does that do for you exactly?
Because they're similar to me. Because
they're still similar to you. By the way, I would argue that you're not very similar to any woman you've ever dated anyway. No man really is. You don't get. Do you go get your fingernails done? Do you get your hair done?
Is that the important part?
Hang on, bro. I'm asking about similar interests, right? Are the women you're with actually generally interested in like deep philosophy?
Yes.
Really?
Correct.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So the last woman you dated had a background in philosophy?
Background in philosophy? Officially dated, no, she was into neuroscience.
Oh, yeah, of course. Okay. Was she a neuroscientist, though? Or was she just dorking out about it?
We're in college. She was majoring in neuroscience.
Okay, she's majoring in
Correct,
neuroscience.
And she's going to go to med school.
So not deep in philosophy. And let me ask you this.
It's still an intellectual endeavor.
Yeah, your shared interests, right? Mm-hmm. Like, what did you actually like doing with her?
Having conversations. I love talking with her. Not just that, Andrew. Why are you trying to reduce?
I'm asking about shared interests.
Why are you trying to reduce that thing?
I said shared interests. What shared interests?
We enjoyed the outdoors.
You enjoyed hiking in the outdoors.
Yes, of course. Mm-hmm. We enjoyed having conversations. We enjoyed having dinner together. We enjoyed talking about things. Like I
get it. Let me ask you this though. Did she get her nails done?
I don't think she ever got her nails done. She sometimes did her own nails.
Yeah, she did them. Do you do your own nails?
I did sometimes during that time. I let her paint my nails. I'll admit it. There's nothing against that. What's wrong with that, Andrew? I know there's something. Yeah, what's wrong with that? I think it is very insecure if you think that a man getting his nails done is somehow like a strike against his masculinity. I think that's pretty insane. I had no problem with it.
Did she paint him different colors?
I think it was mostly all blue, or I think all
Did she put
red.
sparkles on them?
No, I don't.
Did she do your hair too? Did she braid it? Did she braid your hair,
I'm
bro?
Not, I'm not. I'm
Did
not
she put a
engaging.
bow in your hair,
I'm not
bro?
engaging with your bad faith.
Why is that
conversations.
bad faith?
Because you're making. Fun
I'm
of
not
me.
demasculizing. I am not doing any sort of demasculization.
Yes,
If it is the case,
in your view, you are.
what do you mean? In your view, I'm not though.
Yeah, because your intentions matter in terms of the words that you're using towards me.
Wait a second. There's no way for me to demasculate you. You just admitted you got your nails painted. Can I ask you some further non-demasculating things?
You can try to
Did
do
she
that.
braid your hair?
No.
Did she put a bow in it?
I'm not answering any of these more questions.
Did she put a bow in your hair?
No,
Did
let's
she
move
ever
on.
put a bow in your fucking hair?
I'm not talking. No, I'm not engaging with
Did
this
you ever wear a
anymore.
dress?
I'm not engaging.
Have you
with
ever
this
worn a
anymore.
dress?
I'm not engaging with this, Andrew.
Ever?
This is a bad faith
What's
conversation.
bad faith?
Why are you asking me questions
How can a
about my personal
conversation be
life?
bad faith? It would be
Your-
arguments that are bad
Your
faith.
question is bad faith, Andrew.
Questions can't be bad faith. What do you mean?
Oh my God! Are you
They can be
saying-
loaded.
Are you? Yeah, are you saying questions can't be rhetorically intended to do something, and that intention could be bad faith?
What's bad faith about this? When you say getting your nails painted does not hurt anybody's masculinity, right?
Doesn't.
Then why wouldn't you answer questions about other criteria?
Because you are trying to paint me in a light for the audience.
Yeah.
That
Why do
makes me
you
look
care?
way worse.
You just told them that none of it is demasculating.
It isn't.
Then why not answer the questions?
Okay, what are your fucking questions?
Great.
Bow and hair?
Have you
No.
ever worn a dress?
I have not worn a dress. No.
Have you ever worn like high heels?
No.
Okay. Have you ever dressed up like a woman?
No.
Never. So the only
No.
thing you've ever done is get your nails done?
Yes, I once had my hair put up in like a thing, like a clip. Like, I don't know, you can put a clip up
bow?
like that. Not a bow. It's
That's a
bow. No, it's
the same as a bow.
No, it's not.
They put the like hair clip in.
Hair clip in. Yeah,
Yeah.
I've done that.
Yeah.
It's funny.
Did they? Okay. What about makeup? They put makeup on you?
I did theater for a long time, so I did do stage makeup
Okay.
a lot.
Did women apply makeup to your face to like lipstick and things like this?
Not lipstick, no.
No, okay.
It would be foundation.
Okay.
It would be concealer.
I was just curious.
We'll let the rest of the chats come through. We have.
Rylso donated $100.
Thank you.
Oliver, your position appears to be that being born a male means you are inherently obligated to serve.
It sure does.
If you are born a female, you are entitled to be served by males. Is this fair? Equal?
Correct.
Your response,
No,
Oliver.
I'll respond to this. It is not the case that that is what I'm arguing. I'm saying that those who are stronger have an obligation to protect those who are weaker. I'm acknowledging that there is an overlap in who is stronger and who is weaker. An individual,
Is it an overwhelming overlap?
An individual man is not obligated to serve anyone. There should be no idea of service. There should be people partnering in a relationship.
No, that's not what you said. You
What did I
said
say?
that if it is the case that a man is stronger than a woman,
Serve?
exact words were
1 second.
ought.
Protect is different.
Well, that's serve.
No, it's not. You're conflating two things.
Whoa. How is that not service, bro? How is that not service? And all the things I can think of that are serving.
Hold on.
That is the one.
Who are they serving then?
At that point, they would be serving the interest of whoever it is they're
They would
protecting.
be serving the interests of society because it is in the societal interest that those
Is
who
it
are
also in the
stronger-
individual interest?
Of course, it's
Then
in the
you're serving the
it's in
individual
indi-
and society.
You're-
Okay.
You're serving everyone.
So,
in that
you're
sense.
serving the individual, and it's going to mostly be
Like
men serving
everyone.
the individual, right?
So, if I'm being completely honest with you, Andrew, I've been watching a few of your debates, and I've noticed that you like to troll women. Specifically, there was a video in which you made fun of a disabled person, you made fun of their deaf accent. You do that consistently. You've called women whores. You've called
No,
them
I don't call them
satanic.
whores.
I literally just watched a video. Of
You didn't
calling
watch
women.
a video of me
You
calling
called her a
women
satanic
whores.
prostitute whore. You just did it.
If she was a prostitute and a Satanist, yes.
Well, she wasn't a Satanist. She was a sex worker. But
No, she was a Satanist.
am I answering the question or are you answering the question?
Yeah, but I'm not going to
I
let
think
you
the question was
lie.
directed to
Like, I'm
me.
not going to let you lie. She was a.
I think the question
If a
was directed
person
to
is a Satanist and a prostitute, are they a satanic whore?
But she didn't call herself.
Can you
a
answer my
Satanist.
question?
She didn't identify.
But she
as a
did.
Satanist, though.
She did though. She's
Okay,
a, if you're a Satanist and a prostitute, then you're a satanic whore. You see how that works?
Yeah, I see how that works.
Do you?
But
Do you?
Here's what I'm trying to say.
You're so emotional. Calm
Andrew-
down.
oh my
Answer the
goodness.
question.
Look at him. He's
Answer
trying
the
to
question.
do it to me.
Answer
Are
the
you trying to
question.
upset me?
Answer the
'Cause
question.
It's not working, baby.
I don't know. It looks
You
like
think
it's.
I do
It looks like
working?
it's working.
It's really not.
It looks like it is.
It's really not.
Yeah. So is a woman who is a Satanist and a prostitute a satanic whore?
Yes. Now, can I answer the question directly?
Thank you.
Okay.
So then I was right.
And it's funny because you just said you don't call women whores, and then you just called her a whore. But
No, I make descriptive statements on what is a
Andrew, you don't let me answer
whore.
the question. I don't think it was
I
right
make
to
a
you.
descriptive statement on what is a
Somebody
whore.
paid a ridiculous amount of money to ask me a question, and I would like to answer
I
it.
can't wait to hear it.
Okay. To be honest with you, Andrew, I think you debate in bad faith. The whole
Whatever that means.
concept of I'm trying to dominate my opponent is not necessarily the way to debate. If you're trying to reach a common ground and create a mutual consensus, that is a bad faith debate.
I
You pay
literally
people-
just
you charge people
allowed my
250
entire worldview to be up for internal critique. I didn't even push back once, and you still came to my conclusion without me pushing back at all.
I'm not
That
at
is
your
the
conclusion.
epitome of good faith.
We haven't gotten to your conclusion, Andrew.
We did. You
We
agreed
didn't.
that men have no obligation to enforce male privilege after saying you descriptively agree with force doctrine.
But men also
That's
have
it.
no-
Done.
Okay, but men also have no obligation to enforce their own rights.
Great.
So, how do you create a society in which all rights and all privileges are based specifically on force? To me, that sounds like
You'd
anarchy.
already descriptively agreed and conceded that point, but I'd like to move into feminism whenever
no,
you're
we
ready.
did not concede that point.
I mean, you did, but we have other topics to move into, specifically your feminist view. And since I stayed up to internal critique, it is now your turn for your view.
Okie dokie. I just don't think it's morally correct to say you do not deserve rights unless you can
Great. What do you
physically fight
base
for
your
them.
morality on?
I base my morality on like basic concepts of ethics, Kantian morality, Rousseau's philosophy of ethics. I think that
So, Kantian ethics, you're a universalist ethicist, you're a deontologist?
no, I wouldn't say. Honestly, I feel like neither consequentialism nor deontological ethics like fully encapsulate.
So, you're a threshold deontologist?
I don't know. I think there's merit to both arguments.
Okay, so what do you
But
base
if
your
we would
morality
like
on?
to- I think I base my morality on physically how you are impacting other people. If you are hurting
That would be
others,
consequences.
Sure, but intent does play kind of a part in consequences.
That would be consequences as well. So if I have the intent to do good things and bad things happen to you, you'd say I shouldn't be doing those good things to you, right?
No, that's why I'm saying I think that there's a gray area between consequentialism and deontological.
So threshold deontology. So,
Sure.
Okay, great. So you're a threshold deontologist. Can you tell me what you base that on other than your own personal perspective?
Do you not believe that it's immoral
It's
to
not
hurt
my
other
turn to
people?
answer questions. Your turn for the internal critique.
Do you not believe? Well, I believe it's immoral to hurt other people. It is inherently wrong to hurt others, and
What
that's-
makes it inherently wrong?
Well, hurting other people is not. You think that's good?
That's just you making the claim and then it's called question begging. It's a question begging fallacy. When
You're question
When I
begging. You
say,
continue to ask
do you even know
questions
what
and
question
questions and
begging
questions.
means? What does it mean?
Oh my God, Andrew.
What does it mean?
You're trying to catch me in a logical
What does
fallacy
it
by
mean?
I'm answering. You're trying to catch me in a logical fallacy.
That's
by
not
asking me
answering.
ridiculous
What does it mean?
question begging. You're trying to catch
what
your
does
opponent.
it mean? It doesn't mean you're trying to catch your opponent. That's not what
That's
question begging
not-
means.
Will you let me finish?
Yeah.
Okay.
What's it mean?
You're trying to catch your opponent in a logical fallacy by asking them questions that inherently create a dissonance.
What the fuck are you talking about? That is not what the question begging fallacy is.
So then how do you define it?
It's not a definitional thing. It's a fallacious thing. When I ask you, is this inherent? You say, listen, it's inherent because it's inherent. It's inherent because it's inherent.
That's not what I said.
Great. What makes it inherent? What makes your morals inherent? What makes not hurting somebody else being bad inherent?
You don't think that hurting other people
That's
is bad?
asking me a question, not answering it. What makes hurting other people bad inherent?
Inherently, you are denying them the right to their bodily autonomy.
Yeah, but what makes that bad?
It's bad because it's hurting them. Hurting
Yeah,
someone
but
is
what
physically
makes
bad.
that bad?
You don't think that hurting something
That's
is
asking me a question, not answering it.
It's bad because it's immoral.
It's bad because it's bad. Now you have done a circular, fallacious argument.
Sure.
What is bad? This thing over here that's bad. What makes it bad? The fact that it's bad. Why is it bad? Because it's bad? Is that why it's bad?
You sound like
Is
a cat
it
in the
bad
hat.
because it's bad because it's bad?
It is inherently wrong to hurt other people.
Yeah, what makes it inherently wrong to hurt other people?
It is inherently wrong to hurt other people because you are denying them their free will, you are causing them physical pain,
Mm-hmm.
and you are participating and exacerbating in suffrage and suffering.
What makes that bad though?
You don't think that causing other
That's
people to suffer is
asking me
bad.
a question. Asking me what makes it bad doesn't describe for me what makes it bad.
Hurting someone is bad
Because
you are denying them their right
yeah,
to
but
free
what
will
makes that part bad?
and perpetuating suffering.
Yeah, but what makes that part bad?
You don't think that suffering is bad?
No, that has nothing to do with what I think.
It does have everything to do with what
Here's how this
you think.
conversation's going, just so you know.
Sure.
I'm like, is eating candy bars bad? And you're like, it's bad. I say, what makes eating candy bars bad? And you
It's
say, well,
unhealthy.
because it's unhealthy for you. And I say, but why is being unhealthy bad? And you say, because eating candy bars is bad.
You are causing physical harm.
Okay,
You are disrupting society.
So eating a donut is immoral?
I'm not talking about candy bars anymore.
Is eating a
I'm talking about
donut
your
immoral?
initial
Is eating a
statement.
donut immoral?
No, because you're not causing a physical harm
You're
to anyone
causing
else.
physical harm?
To someone else. It is an exercise
So
of
is
your free
making
will.
donuts immoral?
No.
But even if people are going to eat them and it causes them harm?
But eating one donut is not going to cause someone physical harm.
Yeah, but if
you
there's
eat a donut in excess, then that causes someone physical harm. But that is not something that you are policing. If you make donuts
So-
and then force someone to buy and eat 10
Got it.
donuts in front of you, then that
Okay.
would be causing a physical harm.
When you say the word inherently, what you mean is something which is like based inside the human experience? What do you mean by inherently?
I mean, on an instinctual level, does it not
Instinctual.
hurt someone to cause harm? Although, of course, there are people
I'm just
who
asking
are
what do
sociopaths
you
and
mean
don't
by
feel that.
inherently?
I mean inherently as in on a very basic, it is a fact, inherent fact.
Inherently, it means it's a fact.
I'm just saying inherently as in it is implicit throughout every culture. Well, not every culture, but like it's implicit.
Okay, inherently means implicit. So it means always, like always something. It's inherent. It's like always this thing. Is that what that means?
I'm getting confused. What the fuck are you talking about?
I'm asking you what inherently means.
Why don't we just Google it? Why I'm not married.
I'm actually okay with you. If you want to
Yeah,
Google
can
the
we Google
definition
it?
of inherent,
Yes,
yeah,
thank you.
Brian can pull it up. I'm not trying to get a got you on the definition. I just want the definition.
Okay, yeah, then let's pull it up.
Existing in something as a permanent, essential, or
Like always.
characteristic
That's what I said.
attribute.
I said always.
So I just want to make sure. Hang on.
Yeah.
Existing. Read the rest of it.
There's a few others. Do you want
Just the first
Just
one's
the first
fine.
one.
Okay, existing in something as a permanent, essential, or characteristic attribute.
So it is a permanent attribute from your view that hurting somebody else is bad.
Yes.
Why?
Because you are causing them physical harm, which is a disruption to social order.
Why is that bad though?
Well, because you would have no social order, you would not be able to progress as a society, and physical harm is painful. You are causing someone pain. It is bad to cause someone
So
pain.
yeah.
I think that's an
But you
inherent
just
fact.
do you understand like what you keep saying is it's bad because it's bad.
Well, it's causing a
because it's
negative.
bad because it's bad.
You are taking something away from someone, which is their physical, like, just capability. and
So
existence.
if it were the case
Yes.
that most of society believed that enslavement was fine because it was inherent that some people were allowed to own other people, would that be bad?
But that's not an inherent truth.
Well, what makes physically hurting someone else an inherent truth?
Physically hurting someone else is an inherent truth because you are denying them bodily autonomy and the ability to control what happens to their body, and you are causing a net negative to that person.
Yeah, but you haven't actually told me why that part of that is bad, though.
Causing a net negative to others is bad on every single moral, like, as a Christian, you should know why hurting other people is bad.
I know why Christians think so. I don't know why you think so.
I think so because, again, you're robbing them of their bodily autonomy.
Yeah, but you don't tell me why that's actually bad. So you start, this is what makes it question begging. You start with the assumption as the conclusion. You start with the premise as a conclusion. Hurting people is bad because it's bad to hurt people.
Yes.
That's your position?
No, I'm saying hurting people is bad because you are robbing them of their physical autonomy and you are creating a net negative to another person.
So if you could hurt people collectively in some way and it causes good outcomes, would that be bad?
Yes.
Well, then you just negated what makes it bad.
Well, that's because I'm not a consequentialist.
Then why are you making the claim that this is bad if even the good results are still bad?
But it's not a good result if you are hurting people at a net negative.
Huh?
If it is a net negative, then it is not good. If hurting people is a universal net negative to those people,
Yeah.
and the more people you hurt, the more negative it is,
Yeah.
then hurting people in that instance is also bad.
What makes it a net negative, though?
Physically harming someone is negative to them. You are causing pain, which is a negative to them.
Okay, and do you agree that there's some groups who maybe have negative outlooks that you need to cause pain to?
If they are hurting other people and the negative of those people is outweighing the negative of hurting them, then potentially.
What if they just refuse to comply?
But that's why, like, going back to the force theory, that's why force is used in some situations to control others. Mm-hmm. And it is used immorally when it is not controlling someone who is putting in that negative.
They're never sure about any definition or anything really until it comes to calling you insecure about you not wanting your wife thinking about other men while having
Pure coke,
pure
dude.
leftoid coke.
But remember when I asked him, wouldn't you prefer to have a woman who's had sex with other men before? Yes. It's like, yes.
I wouldn't want to date a virgin. That's true. I wouldn't.
I know. You want to have...
It doesn't follow from that it means ran through, Andrew. You don't
What
make
is ran
that false
through?
dichotomy.
What is ran through?
Fine, yeah, then 1,000 people, sleeping with 1,000 people? Then
20,
probably not.
20?
I don't have an exact number in my head, Andrew. It's
Well,
not,
then
it's
what do
not
you mean? Why are you saying
it's not
ran through?
Hold on, because I'm not saying that it follows that I don't want any woman who's had sex with like an infinite number of men, okay? It's a balancing act of so many different traits.
Oh,
so I
but you
don't
want
think
her to be able to have at least as much experience as possible so that she can make the determination you're the bestest, right?
No, not necessarily the bestest. Of course not.
Don't you want your woman to think you're the best?
Wait, if I wanted her to think I was the best, I would just do what you do, which is
I
only
know.
marry virgins.
Don't you want?
Which is only marry virgins.
Wait,
I don't want
don't
my,
you want
I don't
your
want my
woman
woman to think.
By the
I'm
way, I didn't say that's
falsely.
what I do.
I'm not saying you. I'm saying
Yeah.
the position that
Yeah,
you're
so tell me,
position that you're advocating.
Would you
Andrew.
Would you prefer that your woman thinks you're the best?
Because I am the best, not because she thinks I'm the best. Because
So then
she's
she would
falsely-
need a pretty large comparative sample to make sure that she knew that you were the best, right?
I don't necessarily think that is the only criterion here.
Uh-huh.
If I dated a woman and she had better sex with another man, and for other reasons, like for example, in relationships,
Would you
the
want her
sex-
to tell you about it?
The sex can be great.
Yeah,
I
would
think-
you want her to tell you about like, John ate my he's so much better than you.
not during the act or something like
Yeah,
that.
but
in
after.
that way, or in that way,
Yeah.
I think that would.
What
be
if she
weird.
was like, "Can you just do this like John used to?" Would you be
No.
okay with that?
Andrew? There is a difference.
And would you
between doing-
answer my
there's a-
question? Would you be
no,
okay with that?
Not in that language.
Why?
Not in that language.
Why?
Because then that
But
is
she
just being
is
mean.
actually asking you
Hold
that
on,
'cause John
hold on,
did it,
Hold
though,
on,
right?
because there are different ways of communicating a message. If she was like, because what that does is that's just saying you are inferior. What instead the question could be is, hey, in previous relationships, I really liked it when this guy
So you
did
want her
this.
to lie to you?
No, I don't want her to lie
Why is
to
she
me.
asking you to do this thing though? If she's asking you to do the thing, and in her brain she's asking you because this other guy did it and she really likes it, right?
Wait, no, she can tell me that it's another guy.
So can you do this thing that John used to do? I really liked it.
During the act or just in conversation?
Yeah, in conversations.
Sure. Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah. Okay, so you wouldn't mind hearing about that?
No.
It wouldn't bother you a bit?
No. I mean, if she's constantly talking about the sex that she's had with other guys, then that would be a little bit strange.
Now, let me ask you this. How do you think it would go over if you were with your girlfriend and you were like, look, the problem is that like Stacy used to really suck my good and you just don't. And so what you need to
that's an
do is
asshole
get
way.
at least 2 more inches of yaw down your throat.
Okay.
Do you think
that's incredibly crass and crude?
So what you would do instead is lie, right?
I would not lie. I would
What
have
would you say?
I would have conversation with her that in previous relationships.
But in your head, you really want her to suck like Stacy.
I think you can, but I just don't think you have to say it in such like
But you know
obtuse language,
how you
Andrew.
can do it without lying?
Oh, you don't have sex with anyone ever.
Isn't
yeah,
that true?
And be a virgin.
How is that not having sex with anyone ever?
Wait, before you have sex with one person.
So
Okay,
necessarily, if we're talking about
before, Andrew,
exactly.
that's a really uncharitable.
No, it was
interpretation of what I
totally
was
charitable.
saying.
You
No.
were obfuscating.
No, I was not obfuscating.
You were obfuscating. So the question is, right? Why would you not prefer if it led to more happiness for your woman? She was actually objectively happier, right? And you were objectively happier. Why would you prefer to have a higher sample size to compare yourself against if it led to like these worser outcomes in relationships?
What do you mean worser outcomes? What would the worser outcomes
They're less
be?
happy. Less happy because they are making comparisons to other people where those comparisons don't need to be made.
I think there's a balancing act between the truth and happiness. Do you think people like live? I mean, this is a really interesting way to put it. Do you think like living in like bliss where you don't know reality but are really happy is preferable to being less happy but being in tune with reality?
No, I think actually this goes to my point, not yours, right? So I think that you don't need to do heroin. I think you don't need to do heroin to ever make a comparison, right, between like beer and heroin. I like beer. I like it a lot.
Yeah.
I'm going to keep drinking it.
Sure.
I'm not going to do heroin though.
But isn't heroin
But
different
heroin
than beer?
could be.
Isn't heroin different than beer?
But hang on. But isn't Chad different than you?
It's sex, Andrew.
Yeah, and sex is very different with people, isn't it?
Sure, it can be.
Yeah, great. So the thing is, it's like, so I have a beer, right? Heroin could be fucking amazing. It
Okay.
could be fucking like the shit. So
Okay.
it could be black tar, like laced with some fucking insane shit. I could feel like I'm on cloud 9.
The shit.
But I'm not going to do it, right?
Sure.
And I still like beer.
Yeah.
Right? And I'm not going to like, why do I need to have the comparison to know what I'm missing here?
So what I think is going on here with that is there are a lot of negative outcomes associated with heroin. You would say there's a lot of negative outcomes with promiscuity. Wait a second. Do you want me to let me? Do you want me? Do you want to let me finish what I was saying before you say that? You're going to say that the comparison is there's a lot of negative outcomes to promiscuity.
Yeah.
What I would say is I don't think those outcomes are necessarily related to the sex that the people are having. I think it's a lack of communication. I think it's largely can be a lack of consent.
Then why is it that,
I think it could be because you.
Then why
can
are
have,
virgins reporting
what?
happier sex lives, dude?
They're reporting happier sex lives. I don't because they prefer that.
Because they don't have a comparison.
Hold on. But you are I'm
Bro,
so confused. I'm
because
so
they have no
confused.
it's so simple, and it's like, do I need to compare heroin with beer to like beer to have like this ongoing long-term relationship and be very happy with beer? I never need to take heroin. Why is this?
Why would you ever try another beer?
Why is there necessary preconditions here? Right. Well, here's the thing. Right. You're
satisfied with that beer, right?
Yeah, I would say that sex for a woman with like a 6'6" man, right, versus a sex with a woman with like, I don't know, a 4 foot fucking tall pygmy dude, right, is going to be so fucking different on scale. It's going to be more akin to like this and something like heroin than it would be between light beer and heavy beer, dude.
I don't think, I mean, we're completely going out on a limb here. I don't think it at all necessarily entails that someone who's taller is going to be better at having sex. There's
No. It's the idea of attraction level, the idea of, well, I mean, there's all sorts of massive factors which would go into this. So, but I do think that it is the case, right, that if you have a lesser sample size, right, you seem to be making this claim like ignorance is bliss. Ignorance is bliss with heroin, isn't it?
Wait, we know the bad things.
We know the bad things for promiscuity.
Hold on. And this would go to the question of heroin. If there were, and people have proposed like safe injection sites for people to do it safely. If that leads to them being better off, then yes, I'm in favor of them getting the good without the bad.
Don't you?
And I don't think they're inherently intertwined. I just think they so often are.
As a harm reductionist,
and they can't be separated.
So as a harm reductionist, don't you think that if we have heroin injection sites and things like this, that you're normal, like I'll give you a perfect example of this. The pro-marijuana crowd, right? Let's all smoke weed, right? They said once marijuana is legal, it's only going to be the people who were smoking it before who just won't go to jail, right? But that's not actually how it happened at all. What actually happened is after marijuana was legalized, now it's advertised fucking everywhere nonstop, and tons of people who ordinarily would never have smoked marijuana are smoking it. Tons, right? It creates a normalization, and the normalization creates the ability to have the discourse around propaganda. This is actually good.
What?
Right? Yeah. So, like, for instance, beer commercials. Do you think beer commercials would lead more people to drink or less?
Probably more people.
Probably more. That makes sense to me. It follows. Same thing with legalization of a thing. It generally seems to lead to more of that behavior, not less.
This is then a moderation thing, right?
Well, yeah, actually, it is a moderation thing.
But your moderation thing is just only one person, and I'm saying that there is there can be
No. My moderation thing is that every subsequent person you now have more experiences to compare to for negative experiences when you never needed to do it, just like with drugs. Just like with drugs, shrooms are better than heroin, beer is better than me, right?
Wow.
It's all a negative connotation of bad behavior.
I read a book, and then I read a better book, and that book made the first book seem less good, and I read another book, and it made both books seem less good.
The problem is that following your logic, you're fucked on this one, because following your logic, if we're talking about books, right? What's the harm, generally speaking, of reading Lord of the Rings and then reading like the Sword of Truth and thinking the Sword of Truth is less good than the Lord of the Rings? You want to have those comparisons for knowledge. Those are actually good comparisons.
Sure.
Not so good. Like, nobody's ever going to report their happiness level, their general wellness level in society has decreased because they read The Lord of the Rings, and then after that, The Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants, bro. They definitely will do that with drugs, and they will definitely do that with relationships, especially interpersonal ones, because they're elongated. Relationships are elongated.
I guess so. Then I'm curious for you. Do you hold the same standard for men and women, that it's bad for them to have promiscuous sex and they should wait until marriage?
I definitely think that promiscuity in men is a fucking problem.
Okay.
100% hold the same exact standard. But here's my caveat. It is generally less damaging overall in society if men are promiscuous than women are. Generally.
And based on...
So here's generally why that is true. Now, again, the caveat here is both are bad.
Okay.
So I will make this distinction that if there's no male promiscuity, there can't be female promiscuity. You agree with that? And same thing, if there's no female promiscuity, there's not going to be male promiscuity, right?
Well, unless they were same-sex relationships, but yeah.
Between men and women, dude.
Okay, well, you said a general prescription on society, and I was putting... Fine, okay.
First of all, in same-sex relationships, even when they're married, there's massive amounts of promiscuity by the numbers, right? The unfaithfulness rating for married gay men is outrageous. The amount of sex parties they have, outrageous. The amount of promiscuity is fucking outrageous.
So
there's that.
Well, statistics on that, we would have to look at...
The statistics aren't even questioned on that.
Hold on. What do you think gets reported more?
Bro, what?
What do you think gets reported more in terms of infidelity? I think within same-sex relationships, because it's
easier with same-sex relationships because the sample size is so small.
It's also much more normalized within those communities. There are a lot more gay men.
Yeah, and that's bad though, right? That's not good, right?
I think it's bad if they're not informing their partner the same way it's bad if a heterosexual couple is not informing their couple.
So wait a second. Wait a second. So you think then that if you're in like a heterosexual married relationship, if it's an open relationship, that's healthy?
It can be for certain people.
No, it's not healthy for basically anybody. They almost all, like 90% of them, actually, no, it's higher. It's like 95% of them fail. Open marriages, 95% fail. Open relationships, like 95% fail.
Stats,
it's insane.
Where are you getting the stats from, Andrew?
Yeah, so these stats actually came, I think there was a combination of Pew Research, but there was, and the only reason I know this one off the top of my head, that it's 95% is because of Cuck Destiny, that this was quoted at him nonstop, right? And what happened with his relationship?
I have no idea. I don't follow him.
He was married in an open relationship, and guess what? Everyone told him, bro, it's going to fail. And guess what happened?
Okay.
It failed. And why did it fail? The same reason all of them fail. Now, not only do you have a comparative sample, right, but you can go test it. Now you can just go test it whenever you want to, right? That doesn't seem like it's very good for society in general. Like for your parents to have open relationships and going out and like sleeping with other people. That seems like if the failure rate's that high, that would be bad.
I mean, I think that largely it also comes from a lack of honesty between people. That can be a huge contributing factor, is largely because of guilt, because of shame, because of people who don't think that's how it should be.
So if we just destigmatized it?
I think I'm not claiming that
so everything
just
destigmatize
Wait
it,
a second, Andrew. I'm not claiming that everything would get better, and I'm also not claiming that open marriages are better than closed marriages. I would agree with you, at least from personal experiences, that's not my cup of tea. But I don't...
You were in an open relationship?
Not directly an open relationship, but like if you're not like officially dating, but people are seeing multiple people.
Yeah.
That's not my thing. Okay? But it doesn't mean I know people who that works for. It doesn't work for me.
Who?
But I'm not
no, you don't know anybody it's long-term work for.
Dude, I went to Oberlin College, man.
None of these people will long-term work for, basically. Basically none.
No, I don't think that's true at all.
It is true.
Okay.
Like by the numbers, it's true.
Okay.
So like when it comes to open relationships, right? Especially open marriages, that's usually one of the number one signs of failure, in fact, is that one couple or one partner asked to open up the relationship.
Okay.
Like, imagine that. Just think about that for a second. If a man's wife came to him and just wanted to be open and honest and said, listen, honey, I just want to go fuck this other guy. But that's not how she frames it. She's going to be nice like you. She's going to say, listen, there's some satisfaction issues that I have in the bedroom, and this is going on, and that's... How bad do you think that guy would feel, like, on a scale of 1 to 10?
Probably not great, but I think then...
Probably,
wait a
like,
second,
really
wait a
bad,
second.
right?
Then I think that hopefully would initiate a conversation where he's like, oh, okay, do you mind if we try out things that you like and we see if that's something that I'm okay with? Or he could just say, fuck it, that's not something I'm okay with. If you choose to do that, I'm getting a divorce. That's fine. You're allowed to have that preference.
Yeah, if a woman came to you and said that she wanted to, like, open up your relationship to sleep with other men, right? Would that make you feel really bad?
It would make me realize there's a problem.
Yeah, would you want to stay in a relationship where that was the solution your partner proposed to you, that she would sleep with other men?
I would have a conversation with her. I don't know. It would really depend on exactly what she wanted. If she proposed that, actually, it would be a deal breaker if she wasn't talking to me about her needs. So, for example, if she was never complaining, granted, this is not a problem that I've had, but if she was talking about this and like never was vocalizing her dissatisfaction, and the first thing she said was, I want to open the relationship, then I would be like, what the heck, why didn't we discuss this earlier?
She just expressed her dissatisfaction for
a long time?
For a long time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then I think we would probably break up then, because there seems to be an incompatibility there.
Yeah, so you just wouldn't do it. Now, what if she never would have vocalized any of this because she had no dissatisfaction because she never fucked anybody but you?
No.
What about that?
That's fucking weird.
Can you answer that? Hang on.
No, that's
Would
weird.
you have a preference, though, that if you took that same woman, right? Same woman, you really liked her, everything was great, and if it were the case that she'd had no comparative sample size, she would have stayed with you. Would you have preferred that?
No.
No.
No, I don't think so. But
How is that good for people's health and wellness, dude?
Andrew, I already said because people should protect those who are weaker than them. Once again, claim that I'm stipulating. If you disagree and don't think those who are stronger should use that to protect those who are less strong, then I guess this doesn't follow. But I think that's a pretty strong intuition that most people hold.
Let's make sure that you hold this intuition then, okay?
Yeah.
So would you consider like a 13-year-old boy to be a child?
Yes.
Okay. Do you agree with me that 13-year-old boys can be about as strong as an average woman?
Sure. I would depend. I'm not sure.
So should 13-year-old boys give up their seats in the lifeboat for women?
Maybe it's a case by case dependent basis. I think you should try to save women and children because
should the 13-year-old give up their spot in the lifeboat for a 70-year-old woman?
No, because I think there's a longer lifespan. Wait, Andrew, this is what you did.
Yeah, here we go.
No, this is what you did. I'm gonna explain what you did. You took one categorization that I made and general prescription.
Yeah, I'm sorry, it's not consistent,
that
bro.
those who are stronger should generally protect those who are weaker. That's what I said. And you're saying, so in every single case where there's someone who's stronger, they should protect someone who's weaker overriding
you didn't
consideration?
say generally.
Did I not say generally?
You actually just said that stronger people should protect weaker people.
Okay, then I meant that in the general sense. I'm sorry for not specifying.
So generally speaking, then, men are going to be disadvantaged in society under your view.
I don't think they're going to be disadvantaged because they have the advantage of more strength. So them using that strength to protect others.
Yeah, but you're prescribing a duty. You haven't actually told me why it is. So, for instance, do you agree that men and women's lives are equally valuable?
Equally valuable? Yeah.
Okay, then why the fuck would you say that they should give up their spots in the lifeboat because they're stronger?
Equally valuable, because I think if you were talking about a boat sinking, I think most men would probably be better able to swim longer, be able to survive
in the icy fucking waters of the fucking... Are you serious? The icy waters of the Atlantic Ocean, they're going to have a better fighting chance against the sharks? Like, what are you talking... What?
Wait, hold on. Andrew,
come on, bro,
dude,
this is fucking crazy.
There were Andrew. Are you not agreeing with me? Who do you think would survive longer in the icy water?
I think you're talking about seconds or minutes, perhaps.
Okay, and if there were rescue boats going by?
There's not rescue boats. There wasn't rescue botes going by,
well, I'm
bro.
glad we're not in that situation anymore.
Yeah, but I'm asking you about that situation. You said they should give up their spots on the Titanic. The women get the lifeboats because the men are stronger, even though their lives are both equally valuable. Yes. Why?
I think that some men should do that. Absolutely.
Why?
Why? Because you should want to protect those who are weaker than you.
Why though? If it's just a matter of you saying because you're stronger, then you switch. What you're doing is switching your case use here, which is fucking. It's equivocation. It's pissing me off because it's not even genuine. You're making the equivocal case that wait a second, right? Men generally are stronger than women, so therefore should protect them because generally stronger people should protect weaker people.
Yes.
Okay, that follows in that aspect. You're a bit stronger, right?
Yes.
You have some sort of like duty or obligation to protect those weaker than you. But when you're in a situation like the fucking Titanic, right, where your strength differential doesn't fucking matter at all,
Okay.
right? You still prescribe that the women get the lifeboats, bro. And I need you to tell me why.
Why should they get the lifeboats? I think I am then expressing an intuition based on that case that is based on the fact that men are generally stronger than women. So maybe in
How
this
is
case,
that helpful?
Hold on. Maybe in this case, then they shouldn't, because this case doesn't involve strength or anything like that. So in this case, then maybe not. In the Titanic, in that case, then yeah, maybe not.
Okay, so you're
If we're talking
retracting that?
Yeah, I'll
Okay, so you're gonna retract
the claim
that.
for women. I'll retract the claim for they should give it up for women. Maybe not children though, because children would have a longer lifespan ahead of them. And men and women's lives, I would agree, are roughly equal. But you can argue that children's lives, many people would consider them more valuable because they have a longer life to live.
Okay, so then men don't have an obligation to sacrifice their lives for women.
No. I don't
Okay.
think necessarily.
Got
so.
it. They
No,
don't have.
I don't think. No, I don't think each individual man. I think society has an obligation to protect those who are weaker, but I think that no individual person should be compelled to risk or like.
Well, I didn't say
their
compelled.
life.
I asked about duty. That wouldn't be
Men.
like a foreign compellence.
No, I don't think men have that duty. No.
They don't have that duty.
Men in general, no. Those who are stronger, not to die for other people necessarily.
So you don't think that there's a social obligation inside of society which shames men if they don't protect women who are physically weaker than them?
I think there is, but the thing is also I think a man is much less likely to die than a woman
So
in those situations.
Yeah, so what?
So then it's much
But
less
he's much
likely.
more likely to be shamed for not interjecting himself in the situation, which would mean that he actually would be more likely to die
And
than
I
the
think
women.
it's because he's stronger.
Yeah, but that actually would increase his risk of death over women.
All right, Andrew.
And the average man would increase the risk of death if they're interjecting more than women. Yeah.
Okay. Sure. What's your point?
Is that correct?
Yes. What's your
Okay,
point?
so then you're assisting with a bias against men.
No.
With the social shame of men. Do you think that men, because they're the stronger sex, should interject on the behalf of people who are weaker than them?
If they are stronger.
If they're strong, and on
Yes.
average they're going to be.
Yes.
Then what you're doing is interjecting them into significant amounts of danger over the weaker sex.
It's not on the basis that they're men. It's on the basis that they're stronger.
Yes, but
it
the
would
bias
apply-
selection's still
so
gonna
it
apply
would-
to men.
Fine. So it would apply. So are you endorsing disparate impact theory here? I'm just really
What is
confused here.
disparate impact theory?
The idea that if something overwhelmingly affects a group, then therefore it ought to be considered like, I guess, prejudice or harm against that group. So, for example, if a policy was passed and it overwhelmingly disproportionately affected a racial minority or any minority, regardless of the intent
No,
of the
I
bill.
wouldn't endorse that, but what I will say is
Well, this is a type of
no,
disparate
it's
impact.
not. Here's why. Here's the distinction, right? Do you agree with me that people can hide their true intentions towards a thing, right, by kind of equivocating based on their intention? So, for instance, if I said, "Look, okay, this isn't a bias against midgets, but I just think that people who are 3 feet and below shouldn't work in Hollywood," right?
Okay.
I'm not biased against midgets, though. Right, I'm universally applying that standard to all people, but who does it disproportionately affect the
Yeah, it
most?
does affect them. But the
Now,
question-
now, hang on. If
What's the-
I
what's
now
the
hang
purpose?
on, now hang on. Now, if I held a bias, a secret bias against midgets, I really fucking hated them. Right? Would that be a really good way for me to enact my will, my hatred towards those midgets by making that universal claim that all people 3 feet and under shouldn't work in Hollywood?
Sure, but Andrew,
But
what
what?
would the benefit be of banning those people from
I would
working
just
in
say
Hollywood?
things like they can't get hurt as easy.
Can't get hurt.
Yeah,
as
people who
easily?
are 5 feet and are above, they don't get hurt as easy as people who are 3 feet and below.
Then I think
especially when you're on Hollywood
If
sets
you were-
and things like that.
If you were making then standards that were, I mean, we have this. Do you think it's prejudicial?
It would universally apply to all people.
Okay, then do you think it's prejudicial that we hate children because
no,
we
no.
have
What I'm
height,
saying-
because we have height
Yeah, yeah.
limitations on rides at roller coasters?
So hang on.
Is that prejudice
I'm not
against
making
them?
the claim that you can't make even universalized prescriptions based on safety. I'm asking a specific and narrow question, which is that if I hated midgets, would it not then follow that if I was making prescriptions, right, that seemingly on their face were a bit absurd, seemingly a bit on their face absurd, right, but did universalize them by saying it's for all people, but the inaction of that really was going to disproportionately affect midgets, that it might stand to reason that I had some bias against midgets? Do you think hang on, I'm just saying this is conditional. Let me look at the camera too. It's just as conditional. But don't you think that if I passed legislation which was disproportionately affect only one group, right? But I was doing it as a universal claim for all, right? That people might think my motivations were to try to like disproportionately affect that group. Don't you think that follows?
It could be, but it's not necessarily. I don't think we think men should...
Isn't it interesting, though, that you endorse feminism while at the same time having a bias against men because they're stronger?
I don't have a bias against men.
Sure sounds like you do.
I don't. I think that those... I already said this. I think those who are stronger, regardless of sex, should protect those who are weaker.
Yeah, but again, here's the problem. When you claim that I'm a feminist, right, which you have, and that you're here to defend feminism... Isn't it interesting that part of this, kind of like a prescription for society based around feminism is that it just so happens that men need to, of course you don't mean men, you just mean stronger people, but men have to interject and put themselves in harm's way more than women do, and you happen to be a feminist, you don't think people are going to put two and two together and think that, well, perhaps you have a bit of bias towards men?
Bias towards men or biased against men?
Yeah.
No, I don't necessarily think that follows at all.
Okay, why not?
Because I don't think that it means that you hate someone if you think that because
I didn't say hate. Did I say hate?
Fine,
or bias?
Fine, Andrew. I don't think that you're biased.
You can fine Andrew.
I don't think that you're biased against someone or a group of people if you think because they have advantages, they should use them to the less well off.
Okay.
Do you think it would do you think that like taxing the wealthy is like a bias against rich people? That,
I think it can be.
So, but do you think it necessarily is?
I never said anything about
of this
being necessarily the case.
Okay, so
did I?
Hang
on.
It's not necessarily. Fine. Okay.
Yeah.
I agree.
And what I said was that people can hide the motivation. And I do think, by the way, using this example of the wealthy, that oftentimes progressives do fucking hate the wealthy and blame them for problems inside of society because they think they're selfish and want to punish them. They want to punish them.
Some people might do that. I'm not denying that they're going to do that.
And so the thing is like...
Fine. Then I am in full agreement with you that wanting to punish people is a bad reason for doing that.
So what reward... Okay, so for this duty that is going to disproportionately affect men, but isn't meant to target men, just people who are stronger, what do they get out of this?
What do they get out? I don't think that duties necessitate rewards. For example, I don't think we should reward people for like using their strength to benefit others. I just think that's something that you ought to do. Like, you know what I mean? It's like, you shouldn't beat your wife. It's like, I didn't beat my wife today. You should give me more money. It's like, of course not.
Isn't a draft duty which necessarily benefits others based on strength?
I don't agree with the draft because it's compulsory.
Yeah, so is this duty, though. It's compulsory, right? People ought do it, you said? Isn't that a compulsion?
Sure. 100%. But that's a legal compulsion. I'm not saying that there shouldn't be general societal like pushes towards certain things, but I don't think it should be legally compelled in which you go to jail or are killed for not joining the draft. But yeah, absolutely. I think that if society is on the brink of collapse or something like that, those who are stronger should step up and try to defend that. And what would the
equal female duty to this be?
There's not an equal female duty. And I've had this before. You had the same conversation. There is not a equal female. There's not an equal duty for those who would typically be associated with weaker. Is there any duty that women have at all? Yeah, I think so. Same duties that men would have in terms of kindness towards others, being respectful towards others.
Those aren't duties.
Wanting to lift people up. I think it is.
No, it's not a duty to be kind and respectful. We've been disrespectful this whole time. Where's your kindness and duty?
Wait, I think people should be... Okay, Andrew, I'm sorry that I wasn't specific enough in saying that you should be generally kind. I don't think that
generally.
Hold on, Andrew, fine.
Come on, dude.
Wait. When I say people have a duty to be kind, what you interpreted that as incorrectly is you have to be kind all the time, which is not true.
Okay, so you just generally think people should be kind.
I think being kind in general is a good thing.
Yeah, but the
you should be a kind person.
The strong ought to protect the weak.
Sure.
Ought.
Are they always protecting the weak?
No, but you think they always should.
If that situation arises.
Yes. So that would be always.
Yes.
Yeah, so that's a monolithic statement for an ought, but it's interesting how you move between the monolithic situation of your ought when it comes to that. But with the second we get to women, suddenly they don't have any of those monolithic oughts. That's very strange. What monolithic ought do women have?
They don't, because they're not stronger than men. Like what situation?
What other monolithic? Well, there's one thing they can do men can't.
Sure,
what is
reproduce, Andrew. I know
Yeah,
that.
how come that's not a monolithic ought?
Because they should not have to have children.
Why?
Because we can have a society where people voluntarily have children without forcing them to do so. We can increase
We can have a
incentives.
society where men don't voluntarily assist anybody with their strength. What do you mean?
We can have a society where no one voluntarily does that, but I think we can always use incentive structures to get to that.
Yeah, but you said that they ought. If you agree with me that there can be a society in which men are not interceding on behalf of the weaker sex, in this case women or children, right? Why ought they do that?
Why ought they do what?
Why ought they do that?
Protect women and
yes,
children?
If women have no compellence for duties for anything, they ought to do.
So hold on. I don't think that you should protect other people because you think you're owed something in return. That's the biggest problem here. I don't think men should protect women because, like, oh my God, I saved you. Now you have to bear my children. I don't think that's how these things work.
Nobody made that conflation that because you saved a woman, they now have to have your children.
Well, you're
but
saying,
however,
there's a duty.
what I'm saying,
I saved your life, therefore women in general have an obligation to have
on
children.
the monolithic ought, I'm even willing to be super charitable here and say that you didn't mean every single time, but like in most cases, it is the case that men are stronger than women, and so it should intercede on their behalf, right?
Sure.
Right? That would be pretty charitable of me to say, right?
Largely.
Okay, so then if it's the case that women are the only ones who can have children, right? I want you to grant me the same charitability and say, you know what? I'm not saying that all of them ought to have children, okay? But we should make a prescription that they should be moving towards the idea of having children, that's really good for society prescriptively, and that generally speaking, they have a duty to do it.
I think it's a good thing when people have children,
So
including women.
generally speaking, women have a duty to have children.
I think that society has an obligation to keep its population
So
growing.
generally speaking, do women
men.
have a duty to have children?
Yeah, men and women. alike.
Okay, great. So then women, generally at least, have a duty to have kids.
I think that individual women are not subject to this because, Andrew, we can have
Oh my God, you keep changing your position. I'm
I'm
going to
not
have a
changing.
smoke while Brian lets
All
chat,
right.
dude. Fuck him. It's like a tube of toothpaste, dude.
All right.
Yes,
Oh,
you
yeah.
literally just said that, and I defined it 4 times.
You didn't say you didn't define privilege. You didn't define privilege. You defined a right. Those
Oh
are
my God.
different words.
A privilege absent duty is what?
A privilege absent of a duty. I'd say like free will.
A right.
essentially.
It's
Yeah.
a right. I defined it multiple times.
So what are you trying to say? That because women cannot defend physically their right to do things, that they do not deserve rights? Is that the point?
They can't enforce their own rights. So they
Okay,
have to
so
appeal to
because
men.
someone cannot enforce their own rights, they don't deserve rights.
Well, they don't have them.
But do they deserve them?
Well, you're at, again, then you're moving into a different claim. So if you want to get into like what people deserve or don't deserve, right? We can get into that, but can we at least agree on the descriptor of how it works first?
No.
Okay.
Because women, I'm trying to understand why women don't deserve rights because they cannot
That's
physically.
a different claim. I just asked you if we could agree to the descriptor before we moved to that claim, and you said no, and then brought that claim up again.
Because the claim doesn't make sense. I don't understand your claim.
Okay,
Make the claim,
and I'm
then we can
literally
debate it.
answering all of your questions for this claim.
Not well, though. Like, what are you saying?
Which question? Which thing am I not answering?
If women do not have a monopoly on force, cannot control their own bodies, why don't they deserve basic human rights, basic equal rights?
Okay, let's try this again. It's like
Okay.
talking to a fucking child. Okay, do you agree with me?
No.
Okay. Do you agree with me?
I've never seen you this pissed off. This is fucking hilarious. Oh my God.
I'm not pissed off. I'm just.
Yes, you are. And they
No.
say women are emotional. Look at him.
You're the one freaking out, not me.
I'm not freaking out. I think this is hilarious.
For me, it's extremely frustrating talking to someone who doesn't actually
sounds like an
understand
emotion.
the words that are coming out of my
You're
mouth.
sounding very emotional right now, Andrew.
Can we go back?
Would you like to get some water?
Yeah, can we go back and go through
If
all
you need
of
to cry,
these-
that's okay.
Can we go back
I'm
through...
here for you, my friend.
Can we go back through these descriptors now?
Sure.
Okay.
Alrighty.
What is a
You
right?
just want to keep defining words?
What is a
Fucking
right?
Merriam-Webster over here.
What is a right from your perspective?
Okay. I mean, I'm fine with your definition on those descriptors.
No, but I want your definition.
I'm fine with your definition of that.
Then why do you keep contradicting yourself if you're fine with my definition?
I'm not contradicting myself. Your claim just doesn't make sense that humans do not deserve rights specifically because they cannot physically
When did I
defend
say
them.
they didn't deserve them?
You just did, like
I said
4
they
times.
don't exist inherently, right?
Okay, so whether or not it doesn't exist inherently, does someone still deserve that right? Just
They
because
don't-
they cannot
they-
physically defend themselves.
How do you deserve something that doesn't exist?
But it does exist.
Okay, so now it exists. Does it exist or not exist?
I mean, do I have bodily autonomy currently? Yes. Can I go walk around my house and do what I want? Yes. So on a certain level, it does exist.
Where?
I mean, right here, right now. I'm here on my own free will.
So because you can do this,
Pissing you the fuck off.
So because you can do this, you have the right to do this?
I'm trying to see what extent you think women should not be allowed to do things because they cannot monopolize and control others based on
do you
force.
understand that, like...
I just don't understand practically what
Yeah.
you want out of this.
When
So
you-
women can't force men.
It's hard to argue with you because you don't have any understanding of philosophy at all. So when I bring these things up...
That's not the issue. The
you
issue is that your
agree-
philosophy is
you
inherently
agree-
flawed.
you-
It morally doesn't make sense.
Okay, I'll tell you what. Negate it. Negate the proposition.
Okay, sure. With what I said before. So you're basically saying that people who utilize force to execute laws are those who have the ability to control those laws. My issue is that, and in terms of a movement towards equity or a goal of eliminating, and in terms of feminism, you're saying it's a movement towards equity with the goal of eliminating patriarchal systems. My issue is that I fundamentally do not believe that laws should be exclusively enforced to the benefit of those who have physical power.
Okay. That's not a negation of force doctrine. So, like, I don't know what to... You're so philosophically illiterate that you actually don't even understand what I'm saying to you.
And you're just regularly illiterate. I mean, dude, like, then just argue the claim.
I did argue the claim.
But it doesn't make sense.
Then falsify it.
Okay, just because someone can do something does not mean that they ought to do it.
Okay, so
just
then
because men
descriptively-
can force women to do what they want doesn't mean that they ought
So
to.
then descriptively, do you agree with force doctrine?
I mean, I believe on a blanket, I believe on a smaller level. I think that interpersonally, someone can use force if they have more force over someone.
Okay, let's try this. What is
Yeah.
force doctrine?
Force doctrine is your whole thing that men have a monopoly on force and human beings have no inherent rights. All laws are enforced by force and violence is used to maintain societal regularity on a certain level.
And that women have to appeal to men for their monopoly on force in order to secure their whatever needs or rights or whatever it is they want, right? That's part of force doctrine?
Sure, yeah.
Okay, do you
by
agree?
your definition.
Then do you agree with the description? Do you agree the
Yes.
description is
I
true?
already said I agreed with the description. That's why I,
I
want to
asked
argue
you
your
4
claim.
times if you agreed with the description
And
of
I
force
said
doctrine.
I agreed with it 4 times. Well, one time I said no to piss you off. But then
Okay.
the other times I said yes.
So you agreed with me that when it comes to force doctrine, you agree to the descriptor being true.
Sure.
Okay, now we can get somewhere maybe.
That's what I said. Oh
All
my
right.
God.
I mean, you never did, but okay.
I did, Andrew.
So now that we can get past that, now that you've agreed to force doctrine, can you tell me why men should enforce women's rights?
Why men should enforce women's rights. I don't necessarily think that. I think that free will is honestly a privilege. I mean, not a privilege. I think that free will is a right. I think that everyone
Well,
has
then-
the right to bodily autonomy.
Then you don't agree to force doctrine. Why'd you lie to me? Why did
I
you lie to
agreed
me?
You asked me if I agreed with your definition. I
Yeah.
agree with your definition of it. I don't morally agree with it. That's
Well,
what
if
I'm
we
saying.
don't agree with the descriptor, then we have to argue the descriptor until you
Yes.
either falsify the descriptor or agree with the descriptor. It can't be either or. It has to be either or. It can't be anything else. It's either true or it's false.
I just want to understand your moral justification for controlling someone else's body. I'm talking on a moral basis, not that you can't physically. I understand that you can physically. I agree with the premise.
That's nice,
but I want you to
asked
defend
you.
why
but I
morally
asked
this is
you a
acceptable.
question, and he didn't answer it. Why should men enforce women's rights? Why should they?
Because it is morally unacceptable to control others. It is morally impermissible.
That's
to
the
control
opposite.
others.
You're not controlling. If you're enforcing their rights, It sounds like they're controlling you, right? Like, how are you controlling them by enforcing their rights?
But right is simply, as we've defined it,
Yeah.
a privilege without a
So
duty.
why should men enforce women's privileges?
But they don't have to. So what are you defining as
Answer my
privileges?
question. Why should men enforce women's privileges?
They don't have to enforce women's privileges.
Great. Great. I believe the exact same thing. Perfect. I'm
But
going to go have
you
a smoke.
don't have to enforce. Oh my goodness, he's upset.
He's coming back. He's just gonna do a little
Rage
smoke.
quit.
break.
I
Are you
got him
kidding?
to
You just
rage
agreed with my
quit.
entire position.
Oh shit! The misogynist rage quit.
agree with you that men should not enforce women's
Well, you didn't let me
rights.
finish the sentence.
Well, I don't really need to. You conceded the debate.
No, I did not concede the debate, Andrew. You're just walking away because you're mad.
Well, I'm going to go have a smoke like I do every time I do a debate. So I define feminism, okay, as being a movement towards egalitarianism or equity, okay, with the stated goal of diminishing and eventually destroying patriarchal systems.
Sure.
That seems to be fairly historically accurate and modernly accurate.
Yes. Movement towards equity, goal of eliminating patriarchal systems.
Yes.
Okay, I'll take it.
Okay, so when I say the word going forward enforcer, what I mean by that word is people who utilize inside of society some form of force or in order to either execute laws, right, or keep people safe in some capacity. That would be an enforcer, okay? So my argument here is that men ultimately are the enforcement arm of everybody's rights, including other men's, and that women always have to appeal to other men, and so they can't actually get rid of the patriarchy, but must instead comply with the patriarchy.
Okay,
That's my argument.
sure. Do you want to repeat that for me just so I can take a little note?
Yeah, that women, basically feminists always have to appeal to the patriarchy for rights no matter what. And so feminism isn't even possible. It's not even a possibility.
Okay. Appeal to patriarchy for rights. Okay. So can I ask, do you believe that free will is a privilege? Or a right or a privilege? Do you believe free will is a right or a privilege?
Does free will just mean do whatever you want?
Within the extent that you're not hurting yourself or others or becoming a danger to society.
Well, then, yeah, it sure sounds like you're saying it is.
I'm sorry, what?
Then it would be trivially true that it would have to be, if you're saying that that means you can do whatever you want unless A, B, C, and D, then it would have to be a privilege.
Well, okay. So free will, as I'm defining it, is the right to do with you what you want so long as you are not infringing upon another's free will.
Then it would trivially have to be a privilege.
It would have to be a privilege.
Like, by that logic, there would be no way around it. It would have to be a privilege.
Why would it have to be a privilege?
Well, because the second you do infringe on someone's whatever, right?
Yeah.
Do you have free will?
Well, yes, to an extent. Okay, so free will with some limitations. Let's say, is free will with the limitation?
Then it's not free will.
Well, what do you want to call it, Andrew?
I mean, I would just maybe will.
Okay. Do you think that human will is a right or a privilege?
I'm not trying to figure out what you mean by this. Human will.
Like, do you think that
rights.
we as a society...
How about maybe I can just do it this way? I don't believe that human beings have inherent rights.
Okay. Thank you. There we go. Human beings have no inherent rights.
Yeah, correct. I think instead what we call rights are actually just collective intuitions which are appealed to force, and then force enforces them.
Okay, so all law... Are you trying to say that basically all laws are enforced through force, or just
Yeah.
generally?
So all laws ultimately.
All laws are enforced by force. Okay.
Yeah. So if you think about this, the way that I would say is like, do you agree with me that rights themselves are a social construction?
I mean, not really.
So my right to own a gun is not a social construction?
Yeah, but I'm talking about free will, not like human, like... you
What
know.
is that? Well, I don't understand though. Like, you being able to act in will, I wouldn't dispute with. Like,
Yes,
you can.
that's what I'm saying.
You can take actions with your will, But when you say rights, you're saying that those are privileges absent duties. That's a
Okay.
right. And then a duty, right, would be essentially the opposite of what a right is, right?
Yes.
Okay, so these privileges that you're talking about, I think if that's what a right is, a privilege absent a duty, then they all seem like they're privileges.
Okay, but like you don't think that. I guess my issue with this argument is that it's claiming that power is based solely on force.
Yes.
Which to me seems like it's advocating on behalf of violence
I mean,
in order to enforce and maintain.
Well, yeah,
power.
that's what force would be. Raw force would be violence.
Okay.
So that's what it does. Like we advocate that police be able to use violence in order to enforce laws, right?
But we would prefer that they avoid it, right?
Yeah,
Like
but ultimately, what makes people comply? The threat of violence, right?
But there are other ways to get people to comply, no?
Yeah, but what if they don't?
Well, I mean, yes, but I feel like that's a bit of an extreme. Like,
No, it's not a bit of an extreme that people don't comply.
but how does the president have power? He can't threaten violence
That's
against every
all he
single
does.
member.
He is the commander in chief of the United States military.
But he can't threaten so basically, you believe that we function in a society solely because if we don't, we will be violently hurt by the military.
What? No, I believe that all of your privileges that you have in society that you're calling rights only actually exist because of force, the idea of force and force doctrine, and that is basically 100% men who provide that.
Okay, so you're kind of giving this like might makes right argument.
Just makes, not makes right.
So just might is right.
No, just makes, not makes right. Right would be a prescriptive ought claim for morality. I'm making a descriptive claim, which is that descriptively might makes.
So do you not believe that violence is immoral?
Of course not. Depends on the circumstance.
You generally just don't believe that violence is immoral.
It depends on the circumstance.
I mean, violence in an attempt to control others and usurp
Again,
their
that depends on
ability.
the circumstance. I think there's plenty of times where you and I would agree that using violence to control others is totally acceptable.
I feel like violence is necessary in self-defense and the
No, you
defense
don't.
of
You think that
someone else.
violence is completely acceptable to control prison inmates, probably to execute certain laws and search warrants, to do all sorts of things.
Violence is necessary. Again, those are both actions in self-defense or defense of others.
How is that?
If
when
two
you say-
inmates are fighting,
when you're
and
saying
trying to break
using
up that fight so that one of them
violence
doesn't die,
but it's violence to
that would
control
be-
others, right?
but it would be in defense of others.
Yeah, but it's still to control others.
It's in defense of others.
Okay,
though.
what if those people, like inmates, don't want to be defended?
So that's what we're talking about. Well, I mean, if someone is beating another person to death, I'm sure that the person
If
who's
it's mutual
dying-
combat, they both want to do it. The guards then go and break it up. They're
They want
definitely
to
using
die?
violence for control. Not die, but fight.
Okay, but if someone is beating someone else to death, and you are
Yeah,
using
but that's
violence
not.
to prevent
See,
that, then
you
you're
see
using
how
violence.
you see how you negate the claim, so you move to the next claim. Can
not
two
negating the
people
claim.
be fighting and then you use violence to break that up?
Yes.
Okay, great. So then you can use violence to control people, and it's perfectly acceptable.
It's not acceptable though because it's the reason it's acceptable is because it's in defense of another person.
Those people want to fight. Who are you defending?
If one of them is dying or if one of them is
One
very
of them
badly
is not
hurt,
dying. They
you are
just
defending.
want to fight. They're not dying, but they just want to fight.
Okay, sure. So two prison inmates, but again, you're using these like really, really, really stringently specific.
Yeah, because if we go too broad and too general, then if we hone it down, then I can negate your stance because what you're saying doesn't actually make logical sense.
But you're honing it down to a specific example
Mm-hmm.
that is not representative of the entire population of the United States. I feel like we should use an example.
What
that
is
less-
representative of the entire population of the
Not
United States?
two prisoners who choose to fight to the death.
Well, what
I
is?
mean, that's the furthest thing
No,
from
no,
the truth.
but when you make a claim, you make this claim. You say, Andrew, violence is only just, or violence isn't justified to control groups of people. And I'm like, yeah, but you don't really believe that because I can give you examples of groups of people who you would want to control with violence and you think it's totally acceptable. And you're like, yeah, that's true.
Well, those people have lost the right to free will by committing
but
a
hang
crime.
on. You go, yeah, that's true. But, right, I still now don't want to use that example. It's like, that makes no sense. It's a refutation to your position. That's why I hone in on it.
Okay, so people, we know this through the Constitution, essentially relinquished their right to free will by threatening the free will of others. That's why prisoners are allowed to go to jail, and that is constitutionally accepted. Yes.
Say that. Let me make sure I got that right. Say that again.
People essentially relinquish their right to free will, the right to walk around and be free in society as a prisoner, because they have committed a crime that is a danger to themselves or others and threatens
That's
the
incorrect.
fabric of society. So why do people go to jail? Why are crimes crimes? Why are things that are bad?
People go to jail because we force them into jail after they commit crimes, not because they're willingly going to jail for
I
their
understand that they're
crimes.
not willingly going to jail, but what I'm saying is the forced relinquishment of free will in this instance is morally acceptable because they have committed a crime that threatens themselves or others.
Yeah, I'm not disputing whether or not it's moral. That would
Yes.
make my point for me, though.
So I'm not trying to talk about those who have already had their free will relinquished on the basis that they have committed a crime that threatens themselves or others. I'm trying to talk about people who are not criminals, who have not relinquished their free will, who are here in this country and deserve the right to choose what they do with themselves and their bodies. So you don't think that people deserve the right to bodily autonomy?
No.
What makes someone deserve the right to bodily autonomy?
Well, when you say bodily autonomy, would you agree then that a fetus has bodily autonomy?
I'm talking right now about human beings.
Well, I consider those human beings, though.
I'm talking right now about people who can talk and walk, who are independent, singular organisms.
So people who are in comas, they have no rights?
Dude, you keep doing comas and prisoners and fetuses. Just talk about a fucking person. What about
that
you
is a
and me?
person.
Just talk about a person who is not an exception, who is not in a medical state of physical.
Yeah, but what we're trying to determine right now is the worldview. You say people deserve to have bodily autonomy. And then you give me the criteria for bodily autonomy, and then I can instantly point to an example where you agree
That's
that
not
they...
what we're trying to do. What you're trying to do
What am I trying
is
to
create
do?
a gotcha so you don't have to answer the genuine question that I'm asking.
What's the
you.
genuine question you're asking?
The question is, do people, regardless of outliers, does the average person who has not committed a crime, who is not inside of another person, who is not brain dead or in a coma, deserve bodily autonomy?
Depending on what you mean by that.
Bodily autonomy being defined as the ability to choose what you do with your body so long as you are not threatening other people's bodily autonomy.
No.
Why not?
Because I would say that things like laws against unaliving yourself would be completely appropriate, and things like this, which would be a violation of your bodily autonomy by your criteria.
So you think that because people can't unalive themselves?
No, I'm saying you gave me the criteria for what bodily autonomy means, right? You asked me what an objection would be against it, and I just gave you one.
Okay, so let's cut out that outlier. Do you think that people who are not inside another person, who have not committed a violent crime against themselves or others, and who are not currently brain dead and are conscious and capable of perceiving the world, do you think that those people deserve bodily autonomy?
No, based on the
Why
example
not?
I just gave you.
Just because people have the capacity to unalive themselves, no one deserves bodily autonomy.
By the definition that you just gave, we could not give them bodily autonomy definitionally by that definition because...
Definitionally by that definition.
Definitionally by that definition, yes. So I could say definitionally by some other definition, but I'm giving you the referent to your definition.
We don't deserve bodily autonomy.
Not by your
because-
definition, because that would prevent us from preventing people from like doing suicide and things like this.
So we don't deserve bodily autonomy because under my definition of bodily autonomy, we cannot prevent someone from killing themselves.
Correct.
But that's not a violent act. Like,
Yeah,
can't-
that's a real
but why
violent
can't-
act.
Why can't, under my definition, you can't prevent someone from killing themselves?
Because it would violate your rule for what bodily autonomy is.
I said so long as you are not a threat to yourself or others. So that includes you. So you would relinquish your bodily autonomy if you were a threat to yourself.
Then I think that it would then just be trivially true that you don't really mean bodily autonomy anymore, because what you do is you say bodily autonomy with all of these exceptions where we can violate bodily autonomy.
But that's like 3 exceptions. It's exceptions that...
It's not like 3 exceptions.
Exist.
It's many exceptions. What about somebody who's just like cutting themselves with a razor blade? Can we stop them? What about a person who just says that they want to cut off their right arm because they think it'll be fun? Can we stop them? Like, there's so many examples I can give you of where we would violate people's bodily autonomy. What about a person who's having like a manic episode and doesn't want to go to the hospital? Can we violate their bodily autonomy?
Well, they're a threat to themselves or others. So again, that would fall in there.
What if they're not a threat? What if they're just having like a manic episode? They don't want to leave their house. You just perceive it that way.
That happens all the time. Those are
Exactly.
homeless people,
So
and they do have
we
bodily
violate
autonomy.
whatever you consider by your definition of bodily autonomy. When you say people deserve that, and I say absolutely not by that definition, because I can point to 300 different reasons why we would need to violate it.
So is there any definition of bodily autonomy that you think that
Not that I'm aware of. I'm not aware of a definition of bodily autonomy I would agree to that I wouldn't think we should be able to violate.
So you don't think that people should have the ability to control themselves and their bodies under any circumstance because
I didn't say under any circumstance.
So what's the circumstance in which people should have the right to control their body?
Yeah, so, well, for me, I would say that if it's in some type of case of will, that you could do that. But I mean, ultimately,
You mean
I
like
think
free will?
Yeah, no, in case of will. So I'm not sure that I believe in some universalized right for bodily autonomy, and you haven't really given me any definitional reason why I should.
But
here.
I don't understand why you don't believe in bodily autonomy. Why don't
Because
you believe in
my
why don't
understanding
people
of
have
what
the right to
bodily
control themselves?
autonomy is that you basically have the right to do whatever you want, absent the infringement of somebody else's bodily autonomy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Why don't you think people should
Because
have the right
I
to do
think that I need to many times infringe on people's bodily autonomy for their good or societies.
that? Why are you constantly infringing on other people's bodily autonomy? What are you up to?
What do you mean?
What you just said, I feel the need to.
Yeah, well, I would use force doctrine for that, meaning voting, things
so
like that,
when
to
do you,
violate
when
bodily
are you
autonomy.
when are you forcing
When I
yourself
go
onto others
vote.
to bodily?
I'm forcing my will when I go vote on other people through force doctrine.
No, you're not, because they all have a vote.
Great. Can I vote
mean,
it?
not according to
Okay.
you, but
I can vote and you can vote, right?
yes,
Okay, you want abortions to be legal?
yes,
If I vote against that, am I voting against your bodily autonomy?
yes.
Thank you.
Okay.
Can we move on now?
No, we can't move on now.
No,
because
we
you still
can't move on.
haven't
Okay.
well, Andrew, you still haven't explained why humans don't deserve bodily autonomy. Like, what are
I
you
just
saying?
explained it to you.
So then, should control people? Who should control
In
people?
this case, we would use groupings of laws under. And from my view, it would be like Christian ethics. From your view, it would be like, I don't know, shared bizarre intuitions or whatever, where you think that. I don't know. Well, I don't know where
Why
it
are
is that
guessing
you.
what I believe. Stop
Do
it.
you believe in God?
I'm on the fence about
Then
it.
it's just intuition. So everything that you believe is probably just
So
intuition.
you believe? Well, I mean, there's also facts and like physical evidence, but you know. So you believe
Facts and physical evidence require an interpreter, right?
like eyes and ears.
They
and a brain?
require you to interpret them.
So you're saying that facts are different for everyone, regardless of how they interpret.
Well, they require an interpreter, and the interpreter can interpret them however they choose, and then can make moral prescriptions based on those. But when we get to the moral prescriptions,
Facts don't change based on your.
but your
personal
moral
perspective.
prescriptions based on the facts do. That's
Okay,
why
sure.
they require interpreters. So I'm not really willing to kind of seed the
Every
ground.
fact, but you are
Yeah.
your own personal interpreter now.
Yeah, I interpret things correct. Yeah.
Yes, okay, and so do I. That's
Yeah, I
how
know, but I
facts
just
work.
don't-
We
I-
all see
but I-
facts, and then we make
Yeah,
our
right,
own
but I
conscious
haven't-
judgments about those facts.
Right, but I have an
based on
epistemic
how our brains work.
foundation that I appeal to for foundational morals. You don't. You would
So
just
you think
appeal
that
to
everyone should
intuition.
have to subscribe to the Christian God, and that is who decides who has free will?
I think that Christian ethics, if we inform law, it's a way better system than any form of law we have currently. Yes.
But why does that relinquish people's free will? I'm confused as to what that
We're
has
not
to do with
even.
bodily-
We weren't talking about free will.
Okay, so then what
We're talking about bodily autonomy now.
Okay, so then based on
Your definition of bodily autonomy,
Yes.
the one that you gave me,
Sure.
we would definitely need to violate it, and you even agree to that. So
in what? Just for abortion or what?
no, for the purpose of like side, cutting yourself with razor blades, all sorts of various things that you could do to yourself for self that we would step in and violate your bodily autonomy over.
Okay, so outside of those specific examples in which someone is committing an act of harm, which I also removed from my definition of bodily
Then I
autonomy.
don't consider that bodily autonomy anymore by your definition.
By the way,
I don't know what you're upset about. It's your view, dude. It's your view. Like, that's your view.
No, it's
Why?
not.
You just need to own your view,
It's,
dude.
that's not my view.
It is your view.
No,
Your
it's
view
not.
is that you would rather have your chick certified pre because otherwise she might be
No.
missing out, Oliver.
It's not missing out. I don't want someone who is in a vastly different life experience area than I am. I don't want someone who
So
is
she loves
so
philosophy, but she's a virgin, Oliver.
Okay.
This is
Time out. It wouldn't. Andrew, you are assuming all else is equal. I am not 100% opposed to dating someone like that. But I'm saying that if that person has had sexual experiences, like I've had sexual experiences, then we're more on the same level. And that's what I want.
Well, here's the thing that I reject, right?
Okay.
So I don't think, for instance, that if a man, right, like let's say he's had 100 women and then settles down with a virgin, right?
Yeah.
Wouldn't that actually be comparatively like awesome? Because that would assure that he's better at sex from your view?
What?
Yeah, like if he had sex with a lot of women, he's probably better than if he had sex with only one woman, right?
Sure.
Okay, so if that's the case, if he pounds a virgin, right, then you can assure that she's not really missing out on the experience because he's probably really good, right? So really, from your view, men should have sex with like 100 fucking women and then get a virgin because then all the experience is packaged into one.
You're assuming one. The point was she knows what she likes, not that he's really good at sex.
Don't you think that she's going to like a man who's really good at sex?
Women are all different. Okay, they don't all have the same sexual desires.
Yeah, but they're gonna definitely want a man who's good at sex.
Sure. I would not want to date someone who was not in the same life experience as me. And maybe that's because when I think of people, Andrew, who are virgins, I think of people who are much younger than me.
Why?
Because I don't look. This is like feels like the same argument of people who are like,
what's wrong with dating someone much younger than you anyway?
Okay.
Honestly, what's wrong with dating? If you date an 18-year-old, what's the problem?
Date an 18-year-old?
Yeah.
At a different stage of life.
So?
What do you mean?
Why do you have to be at the same stage of life to date someone? That's stupid.
Because I think you should want to date someone who's on your level.
Yeah, but people fall in love, have massively dissimilar interests, different IQs, different everything, and absolutely love each other. What's the fucking problem with that?
I don't think there's a problem with it when you get a lot older, but I do think like men of your age dating women who are like in their late teens, even if it's legal, is weird.
Why is it weird? That's quite the argument. It's weird.
Hold on.
Weird.
Are you arguing that there is nothing problematic whatsoever at all with, how old are you, like 50?
Well, no, I'm younger than you probably. How old are you?
I'm 21. 22, sorry.
Oh, okay. That accounts for the stupidity. No. I'm 41.
Nice.
41.
41. Do you think nothing wrong with you if you wanted to go by UC Santa Barbara right now and,
What would be wrong with me dating an 18-year-old woman who wanted to date me? Why would that be problematic?
Strange.
Why? What's strange about it?
Because you are in different life experiences than she is. She is vastly...
Do you think 41-year-old women are going to be... Like, let's say I wanted children. Don't you think I should date younger if I wanted to have a lot of children?
Date an 18-year-old to have children?
Well, you're going to be able to give me the most amount of children, right?
Okay.
Can you tell me what's wrong with that, Oliver?
Yes.
What?
Because you were taking advantage of someone.
Oh, taking advantage.
Yes.
So let me get this right.
No, to someone who's much
you
younger
agree
than
that
you?
I have tons more resources than the average 18-year-old woman?
Correct.
Huge amounts more resources.
Correct. The power differential
And if it is
very
the case
different.
that woman gets all the beneficiary of all of those resources, right? Plus the added benefit that if she stayed with me, let's say for like 25 years, it is true that I could die much earlier than her and she would be set with massive amount of resources and our children would have way more resources than the average 18-year-old couple's children.
I think it's weird that it's a 41-year-old.
Can you answer my fucking question, Oliver? Answer to my argument. Isn't it the case that if I'm 41, I have more resources she benefits from?
Sure.
Isn't it the case that if I'm 41, she's 18, the chances that our children are going to have more resources than if she had children with another 18-year-old, our children are likely going to have way more resources, right, Oliver?
I think having a differential like that is going to introduce a lot of other
problems. Can you answer the fucking
problems.
question, Oliver?
I don't know, Andrew.
You don't know?
No.
You don't know if the average 41-year-old has children with 18-year-old, that 18-year-old's going to have more resources for their children than with the average 18-year-old, Oliver?
I think she's going to be traumatized as fuck.
Can you answer the fucking question, Oliver? I'm not interested in like your emotional state.
You're also not interested in the emotional state of 18-year-olds if you want to date them. That's
answer the question. What if their emotional state is they love it?
No.
No?
Mm-mm. You should not date someone that young.
Are you going to answer my question? Would the average 18-year-old woman who had children with a man who was 41, would those children have more or less resources probably on average?
Do you think the resources...
Answer the fucking question.
Sure, in terms of pure monetary thing. But that tells us nothing, Andrew.
Why does
that
this
tells
woman...
us nothing.
So this woman can vote?
Sure.
But she can't choose her partner?
Can and should are different things.
Should 18-year-olds vote?
Yes, Andrew.
But they shouldn't be able to choose their partners?
They can choose their partners. Just because someone makes a choice and can make a choice doesn't mean that you should make that choice.
So for a
and take
society,
advantage
so let
of
me get
them.
this right. For a societal prescription, do you think that 18-year-olds should be able to nullify a 41-year-old's vote?
Yes.
Okay, wait a second. That's really weird. Why should an 18-year-old who you claim is at a different stage of life and doesn't know as much as a 41-year-old and can't compete with that 41-year-old's power dynamics because they're so much more intelligent, should be able to nullify his vote? Why should they be able to nullify that person's vote, Oliver?
Everyone should have a vote. And I'm not going to argue with you with women
Answer
having
the
the right to
fucking
vote.
question.
I will answer it, and I'm telling you I'm not going any further on this.
I'm going further on this.
Okay, well then I'm not going to
I'm not giving you a choice, Oliver. You don't get to run, Oliver.
No, I'm not.
I don't care what you want, Oliver. It's a debate, Oliver.
I'm not going to justify why women have the right
I don't
to vote.
give a fuck. I want to know, Oliver, why should they be able to nullify the vote of a man?
Because it's not nullifying. They are both.
If they vote against me, you nullify my vote.
They are okay, and everyone nullifies other people's votes all the time.
No, they don't.
What you are?
No, they don't.
What you are voting? Yes, if I vote
No, they
against you,
don't.
I nullify
If
your
40
vote.
million people vote for Trump with me, are they nullifying my vote?
Oh my God, there are always people who will nullify your vote.
That's
That
not
doesn't
everybody
mean-
nullifies everyone's vote, Oliver.
Okay, I'm sorry that you took that statement.
So
as literally
40
as you
million,
did.
if 40 million people vote with me, are they nullifying my vote or enhancing my political
Andrew,
power?
Yeah, okay, sure. Okay, congrats, you won the language game.
Okay,
I'm talking
so now
about,
back to this.
Okay,
Yeah.
everyone is governed under the system of laws, and everyone is affected by our system of governance. Thus, everyone should be represented politically in our government and have their voice heard.
They would still be represented the same way a 16-year-old is.
$69.
Wait,
What do you mean?
Articulate
One
an
sec,
actual
guys.
Adults.
argument against age gaps.
Oh, they're
Sorry,
adults, but they
boy,
can't pick a
Oliver.
partner.
Not that it's weird or IT gives you the ICK.
Sorry, did we? I'll let the. I'll let the first part kind of. Okay, just let the beginning part.
Zig Octavius donated $69. Articulate an actual argument against age gaps, soy boy Oliver.
Yeah,
Not
do
that
it.
it's weird or IT gives you the ICK.
I think
I don't want to hear about
think
the
it's-
fucking ick. I want to hear an argument.
I think it's really weird that you want to have sex with 18-year-olds
Why?
because that's really fucking weird.
Why would that be? That doesn't mean anything.
Power
I think it's
differentials,
really
Andrew.
fucking weird that you endorse homosexuality.
Okay,
That's
sure.
fucking
That's fine.
weird.
That's fine.
Can you
Fine.
tell me? Can you
That's
give me an
fine.
argument
I think-
for why it's problematic or
What?
immoral? Can you do it or not,
just
Oliver?
did it, Andrew.
What is it?
They are in a very different stage of life than you.
That why should they be able to vote against me?
Because people are always in different stages of life and they're voting differently. What do you? I don't. How
People
does
are
this
always in
follow?
different stages of
How
life
does it
and they're
follow?
dating
Should
each
someone
other.
be able to spend money differently than you?
Well, of course.
Yeah.
My argument is that that's fine.
Okay.
Your argument is
hold
that's
on.
ick.
I'm confused. Then you're saying because like an 18-year-old can buy something at a restaurant and you can also buy something at a restaurant, that therefore both of you are in the same stage of life and can date each other.
Well, first of all, I would argue that men and the way that they psychologically have relationships with women is different than how women psychologically have relationships with men. That's one. The second is that if this woman is 18 years old, she's an adult by your metric and my metric, but somehow she's barred from dating a man who would
Not
give
barred.
her...
Not barred. It's a bad idea.
Why is it a bad idea?
I just explained it because you are in very different life stages. I've said this multiple times.
And do you think you have
Because
data to back that up?
Power differentials.
Yeah, do you think you have data to back that up?
Data for what?
That age gap relationships are problematic?
Sure.
You have data?
I don't have the data off the top of my head right now.
I can
but
give
would
you
be
the most
shocked.
comprehensive.
I would be shocked.
Yeah, here's
if
the
there
this.
wasn't. Okay,
I'll give you
go
the
for
data.
it. Mm-hmm.
The most comprehensive study ever done on this was done in the UK. And they took all marriages which have ever happened inside of the United Kingdom for the last 100 years and did a comparison by decade, by decade, by decade. And you know what they found out? They found out that there was no more likelihood or less the likelihood of divorce, right? And that the satisfaction rates were higher.
Okay. Well, divorce is interesting because if someone is entirely financially dependent on the other person, which I think is largely the case, it would be if you are 41 and dating someone who's 18,
Yeah.
it might be a little difficult for them to leave
What's wrong
that
with
marriage.
being financially dependent on your husband?
I'm not saying there's anything inherently wrong.
So
I'm
what's
saying
the
it's
problem?
harder for them to. You're pointing to a lack of divorce.
No, it's super
rates.
easy for women
You're
to leave.
pointing-
They
you're
have
pointing-
years to plan for it.
Hold-
Do you think
what?
they're getting divorced at 18?
I'm not saying they're getting divorced.
What are you
at
talking
18.
about
I
then?
also don't think they should be marrying someone who's 41 at 18.
Should they be marrying an 18-year-old at 18?
They should be marrying anyone at 18.
So you don't think that women should get married at 18?
At 18, probably not. I think that's probably too early for most people.
19?
20s probably. There's no universal for every
So then
single
a
person.
20-year-old with a 41-year-old, that's okay?
There's Andrew, I'm not. Just because I can't draw a specific line, we've done this before, doesn't mean that a line doesn't exist somewhere.
I just want to know.
Can I just keep walking you back? Like, how crazy can we get? Let's put the law aside. Let's say you could. I mean, technically, the age of consent in some states is like 16 or 14.
Not the
would there be,
marriageable age.
Well, sure, not marriageable. But then, do you think it would be wrong for someone to have sex of your age with someone who's 16 or 14?
Of course.
Wrong?
Yeah, and I can give you the demonstrable reasons why.
Okay.
One, I would base it on faith, right? So I would utilize Christian ethics and say that was wrong, and here's why. If you look at reproduction in women, guess when finally their reproductive tract is the most developed that it's ever going to get for the rest of their life? Can you imagine? What age would you think that was?
You tell me, Andrew. I'm sure it's super young, which is going to
18.
justify. Yeah.
18 is when their reproductive, when their reproductive body is at its zenith. Right, meaning
I've heard people say 16. I've heard this argument used for 16 as well.
It is true that but they have way more health complications. But they're better than a 15-year-old or a 14-year-old, I guess. But at 18 and above, there's no greater health complications, which happen in childbirth, than if they're 20, 21, 22, 23.
Okay.
At 17, there is. 16, there is. 15, there is, because of the developmental stages of the woman. That's one. Hang on, that's one. That's the utilitarian argument.
There could be exceptions, though,
The second is the Christian ethics argument.
Okay.
And then, I mean, I can keep going. There's actually really good reason to set the precedent at 18 years old instead of 16 or 15. And I'm glad that you, like most leftists, bring this up. You try to reduce it down, but there's actually really great reasons from both sides why we would want 18 to be the age. And on top of that, let me just point this out. If they're allowed to vote, they can join the military, right? They can do all of these fucking various things. They can sign contracts. But you say that they can't date somebody who's 40 or 41. Hang on.
Can't
Hang
is
on.
different than should.
You say shouldn't.
Can't
You say
is
shouldn't.
shouldn't.
But what are the negative outcomes?